to discuss milestone 1 that has you choosing one of 4 clients and creating a logo for that client. So it starts out this week with creating 10 thumbnail sketches and then choosing 3 of your best sketches and refining those further. It's telling you to review the client design briefs carefully, choose a client, and then go through the process of creating your presentation template and submitting 10 of your thumbnail sketches along with the 3 refined sketches for the assignment. They have examples that they show. I don't expect anything quite that refined for the 10 sketches. These are basically concepts, they're ideas, they're small thumbnails that you'll present. Okay, so they offer some inspiration within the reading and resources area. And I'd like to add to that, which is a book, a wonderful book that you can get from the local library called The Big Book of Logos. Terrific resource. So the first step is you need to do your research with regards to any client. So that being said, I'd like to share with you the process I go through for creating something like this. There's methods that you can use to come up with original ideas. Of course, look at what's been done out there, learn from the best, never steal, always adapt, get inspired. So, as I said, I have my own process of going through the creation of visual elements. And what I like to do first is I like to write down a list of words that, any word that quickly comes to mind that reminds me of the client in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so anything to do with sports, for example, I would write down stars, balls, motion, action, and especially choose anything that's visually related, okay? In this case, my first initial thought is a star, of course. So I'm going to work with the star. As you can see, I was fooling around here and created a quick logo. So what I like to do is look at what's been done already by the pros. So if we look at these, we see the first logo up here, the Atlanta Falcons, and I shared some of these with you in the discussion area. So this is a professional football team, and notice that the bird in the logo is in the shape of an F, okay? And the New York Islanders here, the second one that you see here, they're a professional ice hockey team based in Uniondale, New York. And the I in Islanders is the only letter in 2 colors. Okay, so the top of the I points to where the Nassau Coliseum is on the map of Long Island in the logo. Okay, the Washington Capitals in the upper right-hand corner. They're an ice hockey team, and the bottom of the bird is in the shape of the Capitol building in Washington. Minnesota Twins, the underline under Twins is only under the middle 3 letters, spelling out the word win. Okay, a little subliminal seduction there, and that makes their intentions quite clear. The New York Mets, the logo in the center, they're also based in New York. If you look at the Mets website, you can see every building in the skyline represents, and the blue and the orange colors are the colors of the National League teams that deserted New York, which is the Dodgers and the Giants. And then the middle logo on the right-hand column, you can see the Washington Monument forms the center seam in the basketball there. They're a professional basketball team. Okay, and these are other generic logos here. And also, if let me just bring up my layers panel here. So underneath this, on another layer, I also did a search for pictograms and icons. And I also noted here, note this little falcon shape here. All right, that's a pictogram. And note how that could have been used over here. So who knows? Okay, that may have been incorporated into that. This may have been the inspiration for the artist to create that. So look at what's been done, and I also recommend that you do not work with Illustrator. If you're new to Illustrator, do not struggle with the technology. I suggest using pencil sketches. Okay? So once you do your sketches, you need to scan them in, and if by any chance you don't have a scanner, I've seen this a number of times and you have to take a photograph of it. It's all about presentation, so I just wanted to give you some tips on that. So I got this from Google. It's a bad scan. Well, it's a scan that has gray in it and so on and so forth, and this isn't the best example, but what you want to do is this. Bring it into Photoshop. The first thing you want to do is crop it. So this crop out the background here. go to image crop. Again, if you're new, I just use this selection tool here. You can also use the crop tool, but this will do the job also. So I'm now going to hit Control or Command L. I'm so used to the shortcuts, or Image Adjustments Levels. Okay, so this is a histogram that represents the tones in the image. Okay, they call it a histogram. So this mountain. So this means that there's no pixels of this value in the image because there's no mountain here. This is telling us that most of the pixels, or the higher the mountain, represents the pixels in this area here, this kind of gray. So there's absolutely no black in here and absolutely no white. So what you can do is pull this together and slide this to the left, and that's going to bring the white pixels into the image, and this will bring some of the blacks in, more darker values, and you'll get more contrast, okay? And that will make it a better presentation. That's if you don't have a scanner by any chance, and your funds are low. You still want to have the best presentation possible. And then back in Illustrator, what you would do is I'm going to hit Control N to create a new file, all right, or File New. They walk you through the process of creating the presentation template, so go through that. I'll just quickly recreate that. They wanted, let's see here, okay, and then they want another shape here for the inside that is white. All right, you can visually center that, and then they had you do I'm just going to quickly create a rule here, and then you're going to put your name down here. So what I want you to do is this: organize these images on your palette here, okay, on your document. Ideally, what I'd like you to do is this: I'd like you to create sections for your design. So how you would do that is, let's see, it depends on, well, I'm going to go back to Photoshop here, and I'm going to copy this. All right, so Control C, go back to Illustrator, and I'm going to hit Control V to paste it. Then I'm going to scale it. So click and drag, Shift, don't forget to Shift, all right, and I'll scale it down to around that, and I'm going to place it up here. So just imagine that you could fit, I mean, they wanted everything on one page, so I'm dragging the Shift and Alt, and I'm just kind of doing this to approximate how it would go. 2, 4, 6, and I don't know, I'm going to have to Shift, Alt, drag, Shift, Alt, drag, and then perhaps one down here, and whoops. Yeah, something like that, and then maybe perhaps number them. If you want to, you could select this, and I'm Shift Alting up, so this duplicates that line. Create a nice presentation. Take it. This is the time to go in there and just play around with Illustrator and just see what you can do about creating something that looks presentable. Okay, I'm going to use the line tool to click and drag down. All right, going over to my selection tool, the black arrow, I'm going to click and start dragging, and then hold down Shift and Alt, and something like that would be great. All right, so I hope that helped. So what I'd like to do is show you a logo that I created, okay? My wife is a children's book author, and I illustrated her book and animated the story, but I also created the logo. So let me just zoom in here. I have two versions because one, if I go to outline mode, Control Y, one has the text that it's in editable font. Okay, the other is in outline form. Okay, and the reason that you want to have it in outline form, especially if you're sending it to someone, if they do not have the font in their system, the system will replace it with a font that's close to it. They may not see exactly what your intentions are. So I always create outlines out of any fonts. So let me just show you the process quickly that I came up with. So this is the book. All right, so this is the book that I illustrated here. Actually, I did the illustrations, and I hired a magic marker artist to color it in. I don't really work as well as Magic Marker as this guy does. He's fantastic. But I did all the drawing and the designing and all that, so I needed to create a logo for the book. So that's where that came into play. And let me see what else I have here. I'm going to show you my research I did for this. I think it's down here. I found, yeah, I was doing some tests here. Wanted to see what it looked like in black and white. I found this logo on Google, and I wound up creating um, this kind of inspired me. I took off from there and wound up with this. Um, so I took these elements and kind of adapted it. And the story's about a flying fish and so on, and, wants to achieve a bluefish that wants to achieve the dream of flying. So my wife and I created this company, publishing company, and this was the book. And I went in there and fooled around with text. I found this great font. Uh, it's this again. This is outlined. So where's that font? It's called Kindergarten. This great font here. So this is what it looks like in outline form. All right. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Oh, here's a cool little thing. I had to create a copyright sign. So the way you do that, just for your information, if you want to, um, if you're interested, if you click with your text tool, you get a blinking cursor, and then you're going to hit in the Windows environment, it's Alt 0169. All right, and you get a copyright sign. All right, that is scalable. All right, so I hope that was of some kind of value to you. All right, guys, take care.